Misinterpreted. Let's get some shoes. Let's get some shoes. So there's like a slightly awkward. Here we go. There's usually like a slightly awkward beginning because I don't quite know for sure when these end or begin when they end. I don't know when the waiting period ends and when the beginning period begins. Ew, ew. Excuse me. Today I'm gonna do a major minor chord, and I could have done this before I came on, but I was like, I feel like this is part of the experience. At least for me, part of the experience is putting everything in order. So I think I figured out why that devil card kept popping out. If it looks like super dark, that's because I wanted the cards to show up. If I need to lighten it up, I can do that because I'm using ideas. The Knight of Pentacles, the Moon, the Queen of Wands, the Keeper, the Emperor, the Knight of Wands, and then the Six of Swords. Okay, I wanted to go until I got the first. So this is interesting. That fits in. So I guess I'll explain a little bit. I think I figured out why the Devil card keeps popping out. Because it's attachment. And then, like, even when the Energy Oracle card attachment came out, I feel like I still didn't see it. So I don't know what it was about last night, but I just decided to unattach myself from things, and I went through and I cleared some stuff up. And as I'm looking at everything, or not everything, but as I'm looking at some things, I'm like, wow, emotions like started to come in, but then it's like, I guess I can realize and recognize that I was in a period of giving. I was in a giving cycle, and that giving cycle was important to me to get me to see some of the things within myself that I knew were there, but I guess I didn't know to the extent. And even if I did, I didn't appreciate them as much as I do now. And I feel like I was really good like a year ago. I was really good for a while with not attaching sort of faces to things, right? Or even things to things, about focusing more on feelings and experiences. Because, in my opinion, or from my experience, sorry, I tried to go with this, but I couldn't get him to stand up today. But I did loosen his neck. Um, so that's the movement. The Moon, the Keeper, and the Emperor. I feel like there was a part, and then the Knight of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, and the Knight of Wands. It was like for a long time I was in this like slow night where I was kind of sort of feeling around in the dark, like this is what I like, this is what I don't like. And again, when you attach a face or a label onto something, it comes with its own suite of experiences. But then going into the Queen of Wands and the Keeper, and the Queen of Wands came out in the space of one of those things that's sort of driving me forward, right? And that's kind of sort of being the guardian of my own desires, or standing at the gate of my own desires. And then this last round was the Six of Swords, the Emperor, and the Knight of Wands. And this is moving forward with those desires, not doing this slow attached thing I was doing before. Because honestly, it does slow some stuff down when you have those attachments. And it was just like, you know what? I was in a given heavy cycle. And I don't know why. It just hit me last night. I'm like, why do I keep giving to this? And I think that's why that devil kept coming out. Because it was trying to tell me that I was too attached to something. And then again, the attachment card came out in the Energy Oracle. And I'm like, oh, well, in the SKT, attachment is good. It's just like, boy, if you don't open your eyes. So So yeah, I decided to just like let some stuff go yesterday, and I was looking back and I was like, wow. And I wasn't like full on crying. I feel like I was trying to cry. I feel like I thought I should be crying, so then I was trying to cry, and I was like, well, feel it, Patrick. It's okay to feel it. And then I'm like, feel what? Um, but it kind of sort of honestly, it brought me back to that moment in late February, early March, when I'm like, why do I continue to give so much to some things when I get so very little in return? And then with everything that I've learned since then, now whenever I encounter situations like that, I'm like, well, is this self love? You know what I mean? Like, is it self love if I continue to do this with little to nothing in return? Is it self love if I continue to put my own happiness on hold for something? And it's like, not really. And it's not that it can't be, but again, it's about equal give and take. And I've given so much, like, I'm ready for a cycle of receiving. And then a cycle of giving in equal measure to what I am receiving. And if I take an honest look at anybody who I was thinking about, that's never been the case for me. And so then it's like, okay, well, then why would I limit myself to these areas and situations where that's never been the case when I know that that's what I want? And not only is it what I want, it's what I deserve. Now, I appreciate those giving heavy cycles again for what they showed me that I have within me to give, first of all, because I didn't necessarily think that I had that much. Like, I knew it, but I never thought I'd have the opportunity to explore that side of me or to explore that capacity. But now that I've done that, it's time to go for that Six of Pentacles equal give and take, something that will be reciprocated and freely, right? Not something that I would have to like ask for or beg for. It's like, it's just there. And so I decided to release some attachments that I had. And then I had this dream last night. Somebody was trying to drown me. Other people are trying to kill me. I'm like, oh my gosh. But in the dream, I'm like, I mean, I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is a dream. So it's time for me to kick into all of who I am. So I started protecting myself. And now there was this one part when I tried to call a meteor down on some people. Was that a bit extreme? Yes. But in the dream, I was just like, I wonder if I can do it. But I showed it myself first because it was like we were sitting down for lunch or whatever. And then I got up to go get my plate. I was like at a table with some friends. And then I come back and I'm like, oh, hey, we moved your stuff. I was like, oh, okay. Like, you just told me I could put my stuff here, but then you moved it. Okay, that's a little weird, but you know. Also, I didn't want to take up all this space in the first place. So cool. And then I have like this premonition, this like split second of them like just pulling out guns out of nowhere. After I didn't even get to eat my food yet. I just brought the plate back to the table. So I'm like, shield. So first the shield went up, and your boy was bulletproof. And then I tried to call down that meteor for whatever reason to just take him out, even though it was like three people. And I never saw it come down, but I was like, I ain't about to sit here and wait for them to start, to get them guns all the way out and start shooting at me either. Even though I had the shield up, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just leave. And so I did, and when I turned around, that's when I saw it. I didn't actually see the whole thing come down, but one person got back up, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I'm like, there was two sets of double doors, and like 9 times out of 10, if I'm trying to escape something in a dream, I'm like really slow. So I'm like, oh my gosh, she's gonna catch up to me. Why is this taking so long for me to get out of this building? But I get out of the building before she gets to me. I put the shield back up, and then I'm just like, you know what? We just gonna fly away. So I flew up, and I flew out of range, and then she got mad. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just keep going. So I just kept going higher. And then I don't know. And then before that was the dream when someone was like trying to drown me. At first it was kind of like playful-ish, but I'm like, this isn't fun. And then the person was like, "Oh, well, I can breathe underwater longer than you can, so eventually you're gonna lose." And I was like, I don't think so, because I'm underwater, but I'm not even like holding my breath. But if I think about it, I don't think either one of us really were. And then I was at like a high school or something. I don't know. It was a whole bunch, but I'm like, why is it that I decide to, not just give so much, and now I have a dream that folks is trying to get me. Like, oh, you think you gonna cut us off? I'm like, girl, that ain't my job. It ain't my job. It's not my desire. So, Page of Wands, the Empress, and the Four of Swords are what remains at the top. And the Four of Swords is interesting because that was sort of the heart of the situation. And when the last minor came out, the Emperor was the last one, and the Knight of Wands was the last one. Now we have the Page of Wands with the Empress and this Four of Swords. So I feel like as long as I'm chilling in my knowing and again focusing more on what I know I deserve and what I want, then I don't have to worry about who or where or when. And that's what I'm gonna do. Nine of Swords. Am I taking? No, because I'm still talking about me. So I'm gonna give these a few little shuffles and then we'll start. Um, yeah, and honestly, there were a few dreams that were just like that. And so I decided to wake up before one of them went south, and then I'm like, I don't even know if I want to go back to sleep, honestly, because folks keep coming for me. Why is everybody coming for me? And maybe that's another thing that I don't know if it was like I was too attached or too close to see it or whatever. But yeah, so that's where I am. And then like the Eight of Cups into the Nine of Cups into the Ten of Cups yesterday, or when I did the Leo season, so what, 2 days ago. For me, it was like the first step was walking away. It was unburdening myself with that Ten of Wands. It was sort of like, honestly, it feels like that Five of Cups for me was just like realizing that in that space, the things that I desired would have never been. And that's something that I knew. But I think I still held too much attachment on whatever that needs to transpire to transpire. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to rush anyone's process because I don't think that's fair. Like, nobody rushed mine. But at the same time, I'm not just going to sit around and, watch the days go by either. So it's not necessarily impatience. It's just like, I know what I deserve and I deserve more. And I'm not going to continue to just put energy into things that don't give it back or that don't give it in equal measure. I'm just like, again, it was cute when that was the case, but Queen of Wands, it was ain't nothing gonna come out of these. It was cute when that was the case when I was learning, but it's like now I know. And if I want something more balanced, here we go. The Archangel of Glory. Oh wait, so I've seen the Knight, the Page, the King, and the Queen. The King and the Queen of Wands. He came out yesterday, didn't he? Or the day before, whenever that was. Um, yeah, because with the Keeper, I feel like it's all about putting things into perspective. And I'm not the type of person, or it hasn't been my journey, to remain attached to things. Because as soon as I begin to detach from one, then the next step comes along. And it's almost like any of those steps could have been a final destination if I was okay with just like sitting by in anger and frustration or upsetness and like not putting into myself and not going after what I want and not going after things that also again express that reciprocity where it's reciprocal. And then it's like, why did I try so hard? Why did I do so much? And again, it's like in the beginning, I was like, if I could have done more, I would have done more. And I don't think that has necessarily changed. But now the question is like, you're beginning to see all that you do. You're beginning to see all of who you are. And like, do you think it's fair to you for you to continue to try so hard for things that just don't seem to do the same? And it's not that there isn't, like, I feel like all of the people, pretty much all the people I've been interested in at the very least, have had their own journeys of healing themselves and getting to know themselves. But again, it can't be rushed. And so I feel like I'm coming to this point where I need to see how bomb I am, keep it to myself, and then keep it moving and not allow sort of like the demands from other people to keep me in places and spaces that I don't really want to be in. Because again, like if it doesn't give back to me, I don't have any children. As I am now, ain't no ring on this finger. I have no responsibilities to anyone, and it's not my job to do that for anyone or to be that for anyone. Again, especially when it's not reciprocated, because then I'm just like, given for what? Because I enjoy someone's company because we have fun, and it's like, first of all, I can enjoy my own company and I can have fun with myself, and also I can find other people whose company I enjoy, who I have fun with, who also sort of like give to me to a more equal degree. And that's what I ended up telling my one Libran friend, the exact same thing. So it's almost like I'm kind of sort of repeating this cycle, but just in a different set of circumstances. But I told him, I was like, you know what? If you don't shape up, I'm shipping out because I don't need friends like this. I'm not interested in having people in my life who only take from me and who never give, because that's just like, if I wanted people like that in my life, there's a whole bunch more people who would still be in my life. And you're not that special to me. And then at this point, it's like, you can't be more special than like me. I can't just allow myself to, like, I don't know, be used and when it's convenient, and like, I don't know. It's not my path. It was part of my path. It was part of my journey, and now it's time to cut it loose. And I feel like that attachment could honestly, I feel like for the space I'm coming into, to continue to hold that attachment would slow it down. I think it was necessary for the time, but again, like, it's about moving forward. And I was like, why does this devil keep popping out? Why does this devil keep popping out? I'm so annoyed. And devil energy's like, well, when are you gonna let go of this attachment? Because as long as you hold it, I have an open door. And I know you don't like me, but this is a door that, you gotta more than just not like me to close. So, 8 of Cups into the 9 of Cups, into the 10 of Cups. Hey! We got two fighters. We got the Dark Horse and the Warrior. Be in your own light. And the Dog. And I've always been my own light. I just got caught up in trying to be a light for some other people too. And again, at the end of the day, it doesn't really help any of us. Because there comes a certain point when there are some things that we, number one, have to do for ourselves, and number two, we have to actually do and not just talk about doing. So, but yeah, I just thought it was real interesting that after I decided to do that last night, I'm having all these dreams of people coming for me. Like, girl. And then there was this one point I realized I was dreaming. So I wasn't like lucid. I was like semi-lucid. And so I asked for a message to get me to go where I was going. And then as soon as I do, I see this little UPS truck or USPS truck pop up. And I was like, oh, hey, do you have a letter for me? And she was like, oh, no. And then she drove off. And then these semis started coming down this little walkway. And I'm like, well, let me try to move out the way so I don't just get ran over. Then I wake up from that dream, go back to sleep. Somebody trying to drown me. Wake up from that dream, go back to sleep. Folks, trying to have a decent meal with try to shoot me up. I'm like, oh my gosh. The things you don't see, I guess. Or like the things that you don't want to see, more honestly. Page of Cups. And another thing, I guess I do have to clarify this because this was another big thing that I realized in February too, is that no one has forced me to give to any of these situations, um, or to these people, or to these circumstances. And I don't want to say like these people as if like I don't still care about folks, but no one forced me to give to anybody. No one forced me to put myself on the back burner. No one forced me to so adamantly try to be there. Those were all choices that I made. And so I'm not going to hold that against somebody else because I chose to do that, because I chose to explore that side of me, and because I chose to give. Because again, nobody forced me to do any of that. And I feel like that's important to note. It's like if I had to be frustrated or upset with somebody, it would have to be me. And then I was like, well, being frustrated and upset with myself doesn't really get me anywhere. So what can I take from this? What can I learn? And how can I keep this moving forward? But yeah, I also learned that I can like, I guess, really fight for people sometimes too, and that's really cool because I had so many experiences of just being like, "You on your own, I'm out, peace." This is getting a little too hot. This is getting a little too heavy. This is getting a little too much. This is getting a little too draining. This is getting a little too this, a little too that out. But having the experience of having someone in my life who was at that point in time worth fighting for, amazing. And it's not that anyone is less worth fighting for now. But again, I also have to factor myself into the equation. And when I factor myself into the equation, that piece has been missing for so long, wondering why things, it's like, well, that's why, because I wasn't factoring myself into the equation. And when I put me into the equation, then things kind of change a little bit. Why are you giving me the red status? Really? Oh my gosh. I don't know if y'all heard, just saw that. Oh, now I'm yellow again. Now I'm red. Oh my, now it's yellow. Now it's green. Hello? Why are you coming and going? It's like, just get to the point and finish this. Because I'm going to go on my legacy channel. I'm just going to keep going. And if it die, it die. Because, yeah. And then we'll pull the cards off the top to see where we end things for today. So that's what I've been doing since last night. Like, you know. Major, minor chords. Today it's minor, major chord. And I'm listening to my peaceful meditations playlists today. I'll probably be listening to it like all day. I'm gonna get back to work on the stuff I need to work on, which I already said I was gonna do, but I've just been too tired to do it. And it's like, yeah, because even when you're not, or even when I haven't been like necessarily more actively engaged with these little energetic channels that I basically left open, it's still, I mean, I don't know. I've just been tired, okay? It ain't necessarily always necessarily that deep, but it can be. Ain't no shuffling happening over here. But yeah. Okay. And then we'll do these. So, for today, for me and anyone that this resonates with, or for the collective or whoever, let's start with the minor. So, the minor is the Eight of Swords, which is the captor. In this deck, the angel, temperance, it's what's been captured. And it's a prison of the mind. But more so than a prison of, of the mind, I feel like it's a certain way of thinking, and it's a certain way of. It's a little dark. It's a little dark. It's a little dark. I'll say like 25-ish minutes is when this starts. Um, Sliada. I know that's something in Russian. I can't remember. But Sliada just popped into my head. Well, what does Sliada mean? Let's see. Sliada. But yeah, I'm going to be listening to my Peaceful Meditations playlist today. Just to. Because there's a certain frequency, I guess, that I want to stay in today. And whenever I hear the music, it reminds me that I'm supposed to be in it. Because if I don't, then I forget. Or at least I forget a lot more often. But the thing about the Peaceful Meditations playlist is that I can still like get used to hearing it and not hear it. Um, where's Russian? Hello, Danny. It's so interesting. There's a lot of things that are interesting. Slieda. Trace. What? Track. Why are you giving me. So, track, trace, trail, mark, footprints, scent, print, vestige, sign, stamp, scar, step, dent, remnant, footstep, relic, impress. Alright, like an impression. Footmark, welt, dent, tinge, element, prick, slot, vestigium. If I'm saying a word in Russian, why is this giving me translations in Russian instead of in English? Can I get these definitions in English, please? Because and it did that when I did like French too. I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so it's like Sliada is I don't because we didn't learn tracer track, but it's something that we leave behind, I guess, for other people to find us, even if we don't want to be found. Honestly, it's like we've been a little sloppy. That's what I'm getting from this. And Sliada. Sliada could actually mean something else, and I don't know. Me or Google could have got it wrong. But again, it goes back, and it's less about. Oh, I think I put this up here. It's upside down for y'all, but there you go. It's less about feeling trapped, and I feel like it's more about those subtle ways of thinking and those subtle lines of thinking that we've picked up that more so keep us from alchemizing or creating whatever it is that we need. So before, because again, the angel is here, temperance is here, and so it's like you could wait forever, but if temperance is captured and tied up, it doesn't matter how long you wait. Because usually when temperance is free, that's all of that stuff on the back end sort of being alchemized, transmuted, mixed up, chemistry set, and then we get the reaction on front, and that's when we wait for divine timing. But this isn't even divine timing at this point, it's just waiting. And again, it's all these little things, all of these little mindsets, all of these little things that we've kind of sort of come to know, believe, and then we follow unquestioningly in the mental space that really keep us from being open to how things need to proceed moving forward to get us to be where it is we truly want to be. And so, again, in my case, in my situation, it was when I was factoring like all of these things into the equation, but I never really put myself there. And if I was in the equation, I didn't have as much weight in that equation as I needed to have. Oh, somebody is cooking something. Oh, it's smelling good too. But that's what this is. And then I want to go to the court. The court is the Archangel Commander. So it's something that we were placed in to free ourselves. I feel like the Archangel Commander lies. Well, no, because all of this is surrounding one thing. So again, last time I saw the Archangel Commander, it was him. Bottom of the deck is the wish granted, 9 of Cups from the 8 to the 9. Hey, never gonna get it though if you keep yourself tied up, locked up, tied up, tangled up. What's the bottom over here? Ooh, the Ace of Pentacles. That's a whole new world. The world that you desire. A world full of desires, of not like unreachable or unattainable desires, but living in a world surrounded by the things that you want to be surrounded by. And that's the point I'm trying to get to, and I know that I can't get there hanging on to things as they were. And how many times have I said that if something is meant to come back into the future, or if something is meant to come back, it'll be written in the future. It'll be written on the next chapter. So we don't have to be afraid of closing like out the chapter. We don't have to be afraid of turning the page. We don't even have to be afraid of closing the book and putting the book on the shelf, because if it's meant to continue, then there'll be a sequel or another entry into the series or whatever, and then those characters will come back if they're supposed to come back. And I feel like it's been things that I've been saying and things that I've been knowing, but I've still been holding on to. And so this Archangel Commander, I feel like that's the energy that we need to embody. And it may be a little cold. I mean, this is all swords, so there's no real emotion here, but swords are kind of sort of tied to the Suit of Cups. And so if swords are tied to the Suit of Cups, then what's really trapping this could be an Eight of Cups energy that's not happening. It's like when you walk away, when you think you walk away, but you're still there. Or it's like if you're walking away, but you're constantly looking behind you to see if someone will follow you. Then it's like, have you really walked away? You know what I mean? And it's like I said the other day, too. Oh my gosh. This smells so good. This is cruel. Um, it's like I said the other day, too. I need to focus. Let me turn the music up, even though I can't hear myself when I do. But that's fine. It'll help me focus. What was I saying the other day? Michael is giving us the sword to free ourselves, but I already talked about that. The Eight of Cups, Eight of Swords, not walking away for something you think you're doing. If you walk away but you're turning around looking behind you, then have you really walked away? If something is meant to come back, it'll be written on the next page, so don't be afraid of turning the page. I kind of sort of hope this is the World card. Even if this is the Tower, I would be fine. Um, well, let's just see, shoot, because I can't remember what I was about to say. Oh, it's the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, cute, work. Bottom of the deck is the Erudite, the 9 into the 10. So we go from the 8 to the 9 here, and then the 9 to the 10 here, and then there's an ace here with a king here. So wait, what is the flip side of all this? The 9 of Cups to get what we desire. We're going to have to be smart. That's 9, 9, 2 numbers of completion, and then a 1, which is the number of new beginnings. This is interesting, though, because the new beginning happens after completion happens in these areas, right? This isn't a 10, and this isn't a 10. So it's an element of something more finite or something more concrete that needs to happen. Again, like in my own situation, I reached a point last night where it's like I'm still not factoring myself into the equation enough. Because if I was, like, this wouldn't be anything that I'd be so stuck or hung up on. And again, it's not to sound whatever, but there is a truth in it. And again, if something is meant to come back into my life, it will come back in the next chapter. It'll come back on the next page. It'll come back on the next book after that evolution has happened on multiple sides, because I'm not going to entertain things that don't really work or fit with me anymore, because there's too much that I want. And not even too much that I want. It's just like I'm over that cycle of my life. It's like if you ain't giving to me or whatever, it's fine. If you just want somebody to use, then you can find somebody else. Like, and I'm the type of person, I don't mind being alone, especially if my other options are like not great. I'd rather be alone than be surrounded by folks, situations that just like drain me and deplete me. Because it's like I don't need anybody else for that. I could drain and deplete myself if I wanted to. Right? It's like when people are like, a man, what I need a man for? I can disappoint myself. I can let myself down. I can forget about myself. I can hurt myself. I can do all that myself. And again, that's not the mentality to be in moving forward. But it's like if you're choosing to stay in situations that don't really serve, grow, or benefit you, and all you do is continue to hope for more, then at the end of the day, you got to look inside and you got to be like, okay, well, what's up with me that, like, I think that this is it for me? And even if I don't think that this is it for me, especially if I don't think that this is it for me, then, like, why do I continue to stay here? I feel like there's some real truth and some real realization that needs to happen here. And then after all that happens, and it is concluded with these nines, then here comes, in the middle of this space that was previously sort of empty, this brand new pinnacle. A whole new world, a true shift and change in dimension. And I think what it's going to do, it's going to empower us to change the dynamic and relationship that we have with our mind, but not only our mind to the degree of like self sabotage or self deprecation or low self esteem and stuff like that, but to the things that we feed into, consciously, knowingly, or otherwise. Because that's what's going to be what frees this captive angel and what allows her to do her work. And I got to go looking for it just to see where our fair angel is. What do we have to gain after she's freed? The sun and the chariot, moving forward into those blissful times, into that Ace of Pentacles, honestly. But the sun and the chariot, that's what's being tied up right now at the same time. So that's what I got today. I mean, it's time for us to liberate ourselves. And I think this self-liberation is one of the direct results. The power in this Archangel Commander is one of the direct results of everything we've gone through while we've been at the bottom of this wheel, waiting for our come up. Right? Or technically it would be like this half of the wheel where we're going down and now we're coming up. And it's like we're here on the wheel. So still below the halfway point, but on the rise. And when we breach the water, when whatever has been tied up breaches, like when the sun comes back up, or when the earth turns around, because we know the sun don't move now. But when the sun come back up over the horizon, that's when we see it. And I think, again, like this is a direct result of everything that we've been through, more specifically since this year started, but even before that. And the freeing of this energy is going to be what sets this Wheel of Fortune in motion. Because again, the angel right now is tied up. This isn't just a, oh, wait for divine timing type of thing. This is a something needs to happen before we wait for divine timing type of thing. And there are these lessons, these 8 swords that we have been divinely gifted to learn from to get us to the point where we can free that angel. But again, and it's like, if you're going to hold on to these things of the past, then, I mean, that's your choice. And I don't know, at my job, I mean, at this point, it's like it's not my job to free anybody. It's like I could say it's my job to help. It's my job to try to inform. It's my job to try to be there, sure, to inspire and to encourage in any way I can. Yeah, but I can't do it for anybody. That's something we all got to do for ourselves. And if we were looking to anybody to do it for us, then it's not too late for us to begin to do it for ourselves. Because yeah, I feel like that's the biggest thing. That's gonna be what really gets us over the hump in these times. But again, it's like the more you practice doing it in this time, the easier it'll be for you. The less of a leap it'll be, and the more of the it's like it's the next step. It's the next stage in this natural process of evolution. It's like another step up the ladder. Uh, it's bringing that Pokemon song to my mind. One more step up the ladder. It's a whole new world we'll live in. Do 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 do. It'll be a whole new way to see. It'll be a whole new place, and we'll have a whole new attitude. And the point is to be the best that we can be. It's not about being perfect. It's not about being flawless. It's about being the best that we can be, and making those self-honoring choices in every moment. And I'm just gonna pull one energy oracle card because I'm kind of, is that the Angel of Balance? That's all about making self-honoring choices. I think I put these all up right last time. If I didn't, then we'll find out. Also, no, there's some in reverse. No, wait, no, they're all upright. I wanted to like do a door spread and see what's behind all the doors, like the door to romance, the door to personal healing and happiness, the door to spirit, the door to value, and be like, what's up with them doors? There's that woman holding a coin with this door to value. It's just, I don't know, it's where priorities are, it's where a lot of things are, and I don't know, it's like in my mind it doesn't make sense for me to really be attached to anybody from my past at this point, because what I want now no one gave me. And if they did give it to me, it's like, things probably would have worked out better. I mean, and at the same time, I have to realize and recognize that while I can find fault in others, I also have to find the fault in myself. And finding the fault in myself, it's like I can't go back into the past and change that. All I can do is correct it moving forward. And so that's what I'm doing. But can I get one energy oracle card to wrap up this Eight of Swords, Captor, the Wheel of Life, and the Archangel Commander, please. There it is. Oh my gosh. Look at that. It's a little dark. Hold on, wait. Let me brighten this up a little bit so y'all can see what card literally just came out. It's like, oh, thanks. Like, you get it now. So like, we can like not pop out the same card all the time. Attachment. Attachment. Oh, see, look, it's all weird. There we go. Y'all see that? Attachment. Attachment is the card. It's number 5. Bottom of the deck is the Garden and the Gate. And again, in the Garden of in the Gate, it's like, do you have a lot of stuff within the gate? Could you sustain yourself? Could you live within the 4 walls of the garden or whatever? Sure, but it's time for you to go outside that garden. It's time for you to leave your comfort zone. It's time to take that next logical step. And again, like for me, I feel like this is different than the impatience that I reached earlier. And it's different than the frustration. I went right to it. Nice. That doesn't often happen. Cause like I got this I got a PDF version of the book, and so if y'all see, oops, all them pictures down there, I gotta tap one and then scroll, and I tapped right to the 5. Um but again, it's not that, it's just it's me putting myself into the equation, right? And just like there are some jobs where I'm like, that I don't know, like it's in the area I wanted. It seems really promising, but something about this just doesn't feel right. But now, perceived need and the choice to let go. In the upright position, this card reveals that your passage forward is being stopped by strong attachments to old patterns or people from the past. The chain at your waist is bolted to fear from the past or desperation about the future. Although you may wear the mask of pretense or even contentment, you simply can't seem to go forward. The stuff that's keeping you stuck could be physical addictions, emotional patterns, or even old relationships. Are you living in fear, addicted to old unhealthy habits, or so desperate about the future that you can't be happy now? If so, the chains that bind you could be of your own making. This card is telling you that it's time to take the action you need to break out of your chains and move forward to an open, free, healthy, and authentically happy life. It may take some courage and effort to let go, but know that you are capable of doing it. Until you do, the difficult energy will just repeat itself, keeping you stuck. The affirmation here is, I release attachment and choose peace. I am strong, free, and able to choose what honors me. And I love that I made it to the affirmation for that, because that's what I was wanting the Angel of Balance to come out and say. It's about those self-honoring choices. But it's about freeing ourselves to make choices that honor us. Bottom of the deck is, oh yeah, the Garden and the Gate. We already know. We already know. All right, so that's where I'm going to end this off. I'm going to go on my Legacy channel, do Major Minor Chord, and then get something to eat, because it smells good out there. All right, bye. Thanks for listening and taking this journey with me. Hopefully if you watch these, something helps you on yours.